We need to talk. But love makes us fucking crazy. Crazy. Literally crazy. And I've suffered it. You know, 10, 15 years ago, I was one of those idiots that pined away for the miracle or whatever. And I had to become self-actualized, A, in order to find the right partner for me, and B, to stop living outside the moment, waiting for some future, I don't know, it's like when you're single, and not all single people, but I know for myself, maybe being raised as an Italian where from the time you're 2, they're buying you shit for when you get married, that my life doesn't start until then. Let me fucking tell you, your life ends then. And I'm lucky, I'm happily married. But, you know, a lot of shit flies out the window once you're taking over somebody else's shit. And when things go wrong in your partner's life that are outside your control, you have no choice. You've made a decision to be there to support them, which means a lot of the times your shit goes on the back burner, including, a career and things. Sometimes just doesn't work out when things don't work out for your partner. Everything goes to shit. So that's a fallacy. And let me clear something else up for you. If I look back at all, and I'm happy that I'm married, don't get me wrong, I'm very happily married, but all those years that I wasted wondering if I was going to find the one, or going to a party, looking around the room to see if the one was there, or is today going to be like, what a fucking waste of time. All the times I imagined about what it would be like to be married, now I'm here, it's nice, it's cozy, but I'm here, it's nice and cozy now. I wish I spent more time cockathoning. I should have fucked more people, and I've fucked a lot of people. I've lost count, so I don't even know. I wish I did more cockathoning, people. Become more self-actualized. Get your career going and stable and set, and do shit. Have a good time. Travel like a motherfucker, because once you're married, like, again, you're taking on someone else's karma, and you don't know how their karma might interfere in your best plans. In my case, I was an artist, my husband also a musician, and we had huge dreams about pursuing an art music career together, and we were perfectly suited to do it. He got hurt, I got hurt, now we're at home making pasta carbonara together. You know what I mean? So things change. Things change, and it's not always la-la when you get married, so enjoy your single time. Having said that, being married is wonderful, and I love my life. I love my family, and I wouldn't, right now, like, I wish I was single. I don't. I really enjoy my life. I enjoy being married, and if that's what you want, then I want that for you. So let's get her done. And let me tell you how it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen if you spend your whole time pining away for some stupid asshole who's not thinking about you. A lot of the time, somebody will meet someone, and you've decided, this is the one. Oh my God, they're so perfect for me in every way, and oh my God, I can see what our kids would look like, and you know how wonderful your life would be together, and maybe that's true. But if they look at you and they don't have the same feeling, you're going to get your heart broken. And if you have to wonder if that's what they're feeling, they're not feeling it, and you're going to get your heart broken. And even if they do feel it today, it doesn't mean they're going to feel it tomorrow. So, fuck, ugh. And you know how they say, when you meet the one, you'll know? That's really true. It is really true. So if right now you're hoping that person is the one, but you're ultimately not sure, and God forbid you wouldn't ask because you don't want to scare them away, he's not the one, or she, woman or male. If you are afraid of opening your mouth that it might scare them away, I'm telling you, run. They're not the one. Because you're going to spend 9 years of your life chasing after this jackass, waiting. Maybe he's just afraid of commitment. He's just scared. He's not fucking scared. Men don't get scared. Women don't get scared. When there's something they want, they take it. If they don't want it, they get scared, and that's when they run. So all these excuses, we're the first to excuse fucking everything in people. They're scared. Their parents divorced. They got baggage. They had a bad past relationship. Me and Glenn are the most unsuited to be married you could ever imagine. I was a cockathon, right? I had a good time. I liked being single. And when I met him at the time, I had just been burned by a guy. So the last thing I wanted was another man around me, not in the mood, and having an alright time. My husband had just been burned, got out of a bad relationship himself, was starting over in a new province. He was worried about getting a job. The last thing he was looking for was a relationship. He had his own shit that he had to deal with. And we ended up meeting. And at first, it didn't become a romance. At first, it was just, you know, we had a lot in common. So we were emailing about yoga, actually. And it was all just yoga talk or meditation talk. And it was purely, you know, and then a little bit at a time, it became, how was your day? And, you know, a few little things. And then that became a little bit more. And then it evolved into something. And in all that time, I never questioned him. You know, I never had to wonder what page he was on, because we were either on the same page and it was mutual and we were very communicative about it, you know, or we were communicating about something when we were on different pages. But I was always aware. I was never afraid to ask Glenn anything. You know, everything was always on the table. And I never had to wonder how he felt about me, because his behavior showed it. He didn't need to say it. He was driving all the way out to Brantford from Ajax to see me. He was calling me. He was emailing me. I never once had to doubt where I stood with him. And I wish that for everybody. And, you know, I don't want people to look at me and say, well, easy for you, then you met a prince, and haha, so easy. I did not meet a prince. I swear to you that I'm married to possibly the crankiest motherfucker that ever lived on the planet. He is one angry, cranky motherfucker, and hard to live with. Someone that ornery is very hard to live with. And he's an obsessed musician, so all he does is work on music 24/7. Hard to get him interested in doing anything. And because at one point he made a lot of money, or really good money, and he was used to a certain standard of living in terms of socially or whatever, now that that money's not there anymore, you know, he'll say stuff like, you don't know me. When I had money, I don't give a fuck, because you don't have money. So what kind of man are you going to be for me now that you're broke? You know, you got to make the best of what you got and figure out a way. So he's not an easy guy to be with. The reason it works is because he's honest. And again, because I don't have to question him, because he wants to be here, and I know he wants to be here. And that makes life really easy. So let's talk about what happens when you're in a relationship and you're just not sure. How does the other person feel? If you're not sure and you can't ask them, I'm going to say it again, run. They're not going to change. If they're in love with you, they're going to be in love with you, and you're going to know it. You're going to wait for them to fall in love with you, or wait for them to realize that you're not the one. Come on. And, you know, a lot of people I know then will get defensive. So he's using me then. No, like, it's not always that malicious. If it was malicious, it would be easy and your heart wouldn't be broken. He would have cheated on you, would have hit you, whatever, and you would have had an excuse to tell him to go fuck himself. Then life would just be easy. They would obviously be a prick. You wouldn't be in the situation, I would hope. But it's not always malicious. And I know this has happened for me too. I've met a guy that's wonderful, and he should be perfect for me, and I should be in love with him. And if I was, my life would be beautiful, and I'd be living in a mansion, and everything's great. But I can't pretend to feel something I don't. But at the time, maybe because my life was so vulnerable, or I was so vulnerable, and this person would have been a knight in shining armor, you try and convince yourself that you're in love, because life would be so easy if you were. And it's not a malicious, you're not using. You really want to love this person because you recognize that on paper, this person is ideal, and ideal for you. So why aren't the feelings there? Why isn't that it's just not there? And you can try and try and try, and some people try for a really long time before they're able to say, you know what, you're not the one. Or sometimes they keep trying until the one shows up, and then they get blindsided, and it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I was really trying to make this work, but I fell in love and gotta go. That's not malicious or evil. That's your ego fucking throwing accusations at people. No one's obligated to be in love with you, or no one's obligated to see you as the one if you see that, it's just, get over yourself, man. Not everybody's gonna be in love with you. And life doesn't fucking end, and everything's wrong, and God hates you because this asshole doesn't want to fucking marry you. Come on. Move on. Move on. Stop stalking them on Facebook and stalking their friends on Facebook. Stop trying to read every little fucking sentence. When he said hello, was it hello or did he mean hello? You know? Stop it. If you've got to try and decipher what he means, fuck out. Who wants to fucking decipher shit in this world? You know? Plus, we're all into instant gratification, and now everybody's willing to wait. Fucking, I promised I would give him a year, and it's not a year till next Tuesday. Fuck him. You think he's at home pining away for you, and you're there crying because he hasn't called you? And I used to be that bitch. 15 years ago, I was that stupid bitch. So I'm not saying this like I'm better than anybody. I'm saying this as that stupid bitch that's now self-actualized, looking back, going, what the fuck was I doing? I love my husband. I love my marriage. I love our little life together. I love it. I love it. I don't even notice that we're broke, to be honest, because I'm sick, so I'm happy at home, right? I'm happy. But if my husband came home and left me tomorrow, I already know how I would redecorate my next apartment. I know what my routine would be. I know what area of town I'd live in. Trust me, I would fucking recover. I would lose 50 pounds like this and go out and get laid. Because I'm alright, you know? And that's not a bad thing. And that's not that I don't love my husband. And I'm not saying I'm a cold-hearted bitch and I wouldn't be sad over it. Obviously. But fuck, I'm not going to put my whole life and all my happiness. What if he croaked tomorrow? What the fuck am I going to do? I got to do something. And so do fucking you. Please. And I'm only this angry because it's hard to watch people you love suffer. And if it was just one person, but it's not. I've got quite a few in my life that are all, this is the one, I knew they were the one, and why don't they love me? They should love, fuck, they don't, okay? They fucking don't. And they don't have to, so stop hating them for not being in love with you. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. You might want someone to be the one, but that doesn't mean that they are. And it doesn't mean that because you think you're so, and you could be fucking awesome. Somebody not wanting to marry you doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or that they don't like you or that it's a personal rejection. You're not the fucking one. When you meet the one, you'll know. So do they. They met you and they fucking know that you ain't it. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. When someone says to me, they can find better than me, it's not about better. It's about finding their soulmate, and they know that. And I'll tell you something else, and I'm not saying this as an accusation. I'm saying this as maybe you should really think about this a little bit. The only times in my life I ever caught myself getting that stupid over a man is when I needed saving. When I was broke or things were really vulnerable. It's the only time I ever found myself a prince that I just had to fucking have. Because any time that I was making money and I was doing all right, I didn't want just one. I wanted to, you know, I was a connoisseur, and I wanted to enjoy my lifestyle. I didn't want to be tied down by no man when I had, fuck, no way. It's always when you're feeling like shit or things are scary or whatever. That's the only time I found myself pining for anything. You know, back when I was single and like, enjoying my single life, one of the best Christmases I ever had was all by myself. And people looked at me like, oh, she's alone. Why don't you come to our house for Christmas? Like, you shouldn't be alone for Christmas. Bitch, I love Christmas. I don't need to be at your house for Christmas. I have a fire. I had a book that I just wrote that I hadn't had a chance to read from cover to cover. It just been edited. Like, I had shit I wanted to do for myself. I wanted to cook a meal and listen to a certain music. And, you know, you could love being alone. It's beautiful. And don't think that if you get married, you're not going to be alone, because there's a lot of times you can't put something on your spouse. Like, when my husband became disabled, I was struggling with a lot of stuff that, although I could be honest with him about, I couldn't put that on him because he couldn't fix it. He couldn't fix it. It was affecting me personally. That was my own trip. And to throw that on him when he was already trying to cope for himself would have been an evil, selfish bitch thing to do. So I had to cope with all that stuff on my own and mourn a lot of stuff on my own. And I've never been more lonely. I was so lonely. And there were times that we didn't even get along. Like, we've had issues in our marriage along the way, like every other couple. And there's no lonelier time in your life than when you're not connected to your spouse. And those times will happen more than you think. And again, I want to stress how not perfect Glenn and I are. So I'm not coming from a I married a prince perspective. When me and Glenn first got together, we almost hated each other. We had the important things in common, and we had the important goals in common. And I think when you have that foundation, the rest is just personality stuff. But he had a lot of personality issues, and I did too. And I had baggage, as did he. And so when we first got together, like the first few years was a war. Not happy candy and cookies. And that's my point. That I did not have a doubt that this is the asshole I'm supposed to marry. I knew it. He's the one. I don't like it, and I'm unhappy about it because he's a fucking prick, but he's the one. And he had the same thing. Daniela, you're a raging fucking cunt, but I know I'm supposed to marry you. I know I have to be patient because I did not come to terms with being married very well. I was very independent. I liked my independence. I'm a little bit psychotic that way. I'm a total hermit, and I didn't like having somebody in my life. And I didn't like my life being affected by anybody. I was so selfish and self-indulgent. And that's a horrible, horrible trait to have in a spouse. So he really got pushed away, you know? And I don't know. It was really, really hard. And then what ended up happening over time is we learned boundaries, and we learned what makes a good spouse. We learned each other's love language. Everybody has a different love language. We had to learn each other's language, and our love really grew. And now we're happy. Now we never fight. Now we joke about how we don't fight. And now we don't have to fight because we speak so well to each other that one look says everything. And then we've become sensitive to know how to fix it. So when I fuck up, I know it, and I know how to fix it, and vice versa with him. So it's good, and it was worth waiting for, and it was worth fighting for. So I'm not saying that just because you fight with a guy that means you shouldn't be together, you should find somebody you don't fight with. That's not what I'm saying. When both are mutually vested, and you're both healing and doing what you need to get better for each other and for yourselves, because if you're a good spouse, that isn't just good for your partner, it makes your life better too, and it makes you a better person. Marriage does make you a better person if you're willing to let it. So I'm not saying to go out and find someone you never fight with, because me and Glenn, like I said, epic. But now, like I said, it was worth it because I knew he was the one. I never had to wonder about that. We could fight about everything fucking else, but I never had to wonder about his intention or where he wanted to be or how he felt about me. That's the thing you have to hold out for. When you find it, sure, hang on, but if it's not mutual, it's all in your head. Stop fabricating these relationships in your head. So many people I know read so much she gave you a birthday card, so you take that as a fucking means he wants to spend the rest of his life with you. You know what I mean? Especially women. Because you know what? I've known guys that have done this too. You read so much into things. So every hello, every time they think of you and text you or email, you take that as some proof of something, and you make up 1,000 excuses why they can't feel something or why they're not calling or they're not texting, and then you spend all day by the phone and on Facebook refreshing your screen and looking at their profile and going through their friends' profiles to see where they've been and asking your friends to do stupid shit like say things. Just fuck. Please, people. It's 2012. For all you know, maybe this is the big apocalypse. People need to wake the fuck up and realize that a lot of it is just in your fucking head. What you think about people is just in your head. What they think about you is just in your head. what is meant to be, what you feel. Just a lot of it is just your ego and your fear and something missing that you're trying to fill that void with somebody else, and they're never going to do it for you. I met the one for me, and he doesn't fill any voids for me. I'm on my own still. The same shit I had, the same voids and feelings and whatever the fuck baggage I had before I met him, he came along and I still had that shit. You know, you gotta heal stuff for yourself. You've gotta entertain yourself. My husband never leaves his fucking studio. He's like Casper the Friendly Husband. I socialize on my own if I go out. I hardly ever bring Glenn anywhere. Anything I like to do, I do with his dad most of the time, not even him. So you can't even, I want to do stuff together. You're probably not even going to do shit together. You know, just fill your own life. Fill your own day. Fill your own heart. Date yourself. Don't even go out looking for men. When you stop looking for them, they start chasing you. And when you meet men, enjoy them. Fuck them. Have a good time. But don't look, is this the one? You'll fucking know. When it's time, like me and Glenn were friends first. When it's time, it will shift into what it's supposed to be. So stop wondering about it. Enjoy it for what it is. Because as long as you're there, is he the one? Is he, I want this to last forever. You're always going to have the fear that it's gone. So then you're not really enjoying that moment. Because you're spending that moment thinking about a decade from now. Fuck, a decade from now, you might be dead. Seriously. So start looking at, right now, I'm holding this person and they're beautiful and I love this moment, and you're just going to live in this moment. Because 5 days from now, you could change your mind and decide you want out. So stop. Stop. Look at my in-laws. 40 years. They separated after 40 years together. Some people die. You know, so stop with the what the fuck is. There's no such thing as a failure. If your marriage lasts 5 years, it's a success. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. There is a good book on this subject, not just about this subject, but it covers this subject in depth, and it's really, really, really good book. And don't let the title make you think it's a religious type of book, because I'm not that, you know what I mean? You'll like this book. It's called Conversations with God, Book 1 by Neil Walsh. Neil Walsh. That book is fabulous and puts a lot of relationship stuff to bed and will free your mind and free your heart to enjoy your life. And my friends that are spinsters out there that are sad because they're waiting to find the one, you are the one. And that doesn't mean you're not going to meet somebody. But you're going to meet someone and realize that nothing fucking got better. It got different. It gets different, but it doesn't get better. You know? So enjoy your time. Stop. And please stop bugging your friends that have figured it out with 1,000 fucking texts every time the motherfucker calls you. I'm so happy I know you don't like it, but he's the one that I know. And then 2 days later, never got me, fuck. Right? And this isn't like once. Fucking years of this shit. Get over. Get over them, please. Enjoy your life. Go out, get fucking laid or something. Go have fun. Fuck. Get wasted. I don't know. Just have a good time. Get a hobby. I don't mean this in a bad way, in a good way. Go have fun. Life is full. Life is fucking full. I'm sick. I'm stuck at home half the time. And fuck, if you can enjoy your life, do it. Do it. It's wasting around for some assholes not thinking about you. Why the fuck are you thinking about them? Fuck them. Fuck them. It's demeaning. I want you to imagine, how's God looking at you right now? There's a good one, eh? Here's a good way to think about it. Right now, what's God or my higher self or whatever you want to, my higher consciousness, however you want to play this game. And let's use God because for me that's easy. Even though I don't even know what I believe about that, but whatever. So God's created all these children. And this one child, let's say me, right, has decided that I'm going to pine away over this one other person because I've told myself in my own ego mind that this is the one, right? And that's what I've convinced myself, even though the other person obviously isn't feeling that way or acting that way for whatever stupid fucking reason you want to give it, whatever baggage you think they have that keeps them from falling in love with you, which is bullshit, by the way, but whatever. So they've got this issue, and you're crying, 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 and God's thinking, you stupid bitch, they were never going to be yours because I never created them with the intention that they had to fall in love with you just because you decided. And meanwhile, I've got 5 other people on reserve that I had planned for you, maybe, or whatever the fuck, that would work with you maybe a week from now if you just put your fucking pants on and chill out. You know, and instead, you're wasting a fucking decade chasing some asshole that was never meant to be yours in the first place. How does that look to your higher self? When you're on your fucking deathbed, and aren't you gonna feel fucking stupid when a year from now the person you're supposed to be with shows up? Aren't you gonna feel like a stupid asshole when you look back at all the time you wasted on this jackass? Because I know when I look back on my tearful times, waiting or hoping that someone would change their mind, fuck. And I know, like, for example, there was one guy, and he was cute. He was cute. He was a sweetheart and a nice boy. And my first good boy. I'd always gone for the bad boys. I was that stupid bitch. And I finally went for a good boy. And like 4 or 5 months into the relationship, he started hinting at getting engaged. And I'm meeting the family and but I'm a raging bitch. And he realized it and understood that he wasn't going to be with me and dumped me. And I was just devastated. I realized really soon the reason I was a raging bitch with him is because I was bored as fuck. We were so not suited to each other, and he didn't believe in my art stuff and the stuff I did on the side, so he kept saying, can't you just keep it a hobby? And I wanted to make it a living. How the fuck am I gonna be with someone like that? And then when I started dating other people, like I had a relationship after that to this day is the one that got away. And again, it's okay because there's no way I could have made a life with this person. So I look back and it's like, thank God. I'm glad I had that experience, and I'm glad I had them because I love thinking back to memories of them and the beautiful parts of them that maybe I don't experience in my current marriage. So it's nice to have that memory. But am I ever fucking grateful that I didn't actually marry them? Even though my husband doesn't have the things that I found endearing in them, I'm grateful that my husband is my husband and not these guys. It's totally cool that these guys got away because I would have been miserable otherwise. Where, you know, my husband was the first person to fall in love with me and not wait for me to become something else. I can totally be myself around my husband and have not one insecurity. I don't even think about it. I say shit and don't even think about it. And I can act like a silly bitch and, you know, whatever. And I'm at home. Like, I'm truly at home with my husband. Where these other two that I'm thinking about, that although they're the highlight of my romantic life, I couldn't truly be myself. And I would much rather be home. Those guys weren't home to me. They were awesome in whatever they were doing, but they weren't home. And Glenn's home. And I want that for you. I want you to find your home. So chill out. Just chill out. It's worth the wait. Worth the wait.